He refused to make any rash promises. Nevertheless, when the trial came on, he refrained from any of the personal abuse that was common form in Greek law courts, and spoke strictly to his brief, quiet, straightforwardly, giving the facts as he knew them. Kimon, for his part, laughed at the charge. Could he not, he asked, have been Praxenos, official representative at Athens, of many rich Ionian or Thessalian states, who would pay well for his services? Yet he refused them, and did this service only for the sober Spartans, who used no money. Was he likely to take bribes then? Kimon was acquitted. So, this is more expensive volume than I thought. It's not good. But it's important. They're doing wrong. They're hurling abuse and slanders and that sort of thing. You can be respectful. You don't have to be seen as weak because you're being respectful and not returning their abuse. Soon afterwards, there was another trial of strength. Sparta was faring so ill in her Helot war that at least she put her pride in her pocket and appealed for help to her allies, including the Athens. Under the treaty dating from the Great Persian War, there was a fierce debate. The Democrats, though they knew nothing yet of Sparta's secret promise to Thassos, were against helping the stronghold of oligarchy. But Kimon carried the day with a passionate plea for Sparta, which he idealized. Will you, he ended, stand by and see Greece lamed off a leg, and Athens drawing the plow without her yokemate? 4,000 armored men, a full third of Athens' field army, under Kimon himself, marched to help Sparta, but the result was unexpected. The Spartans, growing afraid of the Athenians' daring and revolutionary spirit, as Thucydides, and fearing that they might well be won over by the enemy, sent them away, the only allies to be so treated, without cause rendered, but simply saying that they did not require them further. Some of the Athenian infantry, we must suppose, for the Spartans might be stupid, but they were not lunatics. I don't know why we would say the Spartans were stupid. Had been expressing themselves freely about the social and political conditions that they had found. They had been told they were going to suppress a slave revolt. They found themselves opposed to good Greeks, fighting against oppression like the Athenians' own fathers. This failure of Spartan diplomacy tipped the scale at Athens against Sparta's friends. Furious, the assembly denounced the alliance with Sparta and made new ones with Argos and Thessala states, and that had not been on the nationalist side in the Persian War. Almost at the same time, 462 to 461 BCE, Ephialtes and Pericles carried their bill depriving Areopagus of all powers except those of a supreme court for charges of murder. Its customary jurisdiction in moral and constitutional questions went, respectively, to the popular jury courts and to the Council of 500, both in effect and in the Council committees of the sovereign people in Parliament assembled. And yeah, it's important that the political figures represent the people rather than just their own wills. Kimon, who appears to have been absent, when Areopagus' bill was passed, when the Areopagus bill was passed, flung himself into the fray on his return and tried to get it repealed. He failed. Political passions rose to fever heat, and resort was had to ostracismos, as in the days of Themistocles. Kimon lost, and was sent into exile for 10 years. Ephialtes was now the leading citizen of Athens, but he did not long survive. Probably in the same year, he was assassinated by Boeotian Bravo in the Pay. Few people had any doubt of a reactionary Athenian secret society, so Kimon's ideal of a Greece united under the joint leadership of Athens and Sparta failed, as it was bound to fail. Democracy and the National Socialism of Sparta were too ill-matched ever to be the yokefellows of the naive, honest general's dream. Henceforth the alternatives were clearly posed. Athens or Sparta. It remained to be seen what the growing, teeming democracy could make of the new situation. Now, since we've mentioned National Socialism, let's remember that Pericles was, I guess you could say, like Hitler, but like Hitler without the blood and soil sort of thing. Yes, it was about their nation, but, as long as you were allied with their nation, it wasn't what particular land you were born in, whatever race, and, he was obviously a bit sexist. I'm not sure if Hitler was sexist, which would have been unusual. Not too unusual, but would have been the common thing of his time. But and it wasn't, and there certainly wasn't the going after certain religious or philosophical groups. That was not the point. If he was bested, he'd be like, I used to be better at this stuff, and you're pretty good, So the next bit, we're into part 3, Pericles and the Empire, and probably another few chapters, I don't remember.